It's the only real asset out there, right? I mean, even cash is not real, right? We all know that, right? People talk about crypto and stock market. Yeah, okay, those are great. People make a lot of money with it, but it's too volatile. 1 minute you're on top, next second you crying. Real estate's actually real. So I believe it's the only way, in 2025 and beyond to build wealth, to build freedom predictably and safely. And that's, I'm just trying to get that message out there.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking.
You say that? You don't. And like that immediately brings something. My great grandmother, she literally said something to us. She was like, "Listen, the one thing God did not make more of was land."
That's right. That's right. Yo, there's literally wars over land right now in this world, right? Yep. So if we have the opportunity to grab a piece, why not, right? Pass something on to our kids, to our grandkids. That's only going to go up in value because they're not making any more of it. You hit the nail right in the head.
That is crazy. So I'm pretty sure some people might be listening, bro. They're gonna be like, look, like you identified your mentor. What are some red flags and some green flags that you identify when you're looking to get a mentor, bro? Because there's so many people. You got Caesar from Jersey who was listening and all that. That shit happens. So how do you know the right person?
Yeah, I was on the podcast with Angela and Stacy right on the way up, and that's all that for weeks after that. People were DMing me and talking about Caesar. So I know, right? I know. Yeah. If you are thinking about getting a mentor, especially in real estate, right? I don't know much about crypto. Like I said, I don't know much about there's a lot of strategies out there that people are using to make money, right? If you're looking to follow a mentor that's actually in real estate, ask them to show you their HUDs, right? A HUD is like a closing statement. Every time you buy, refinance, sell a property, ask them to show you the HUDs. Verify they're actually doing deals and doing the business. I can almost guarantee you that more than half of those gurus, those fake gurus out there ain't really doing the business, right? They learned this online, read a book, and they saw that they can make a lot of money. So they start teaching it online, right? But when stuff happens, which it does in real estate, I told you a couple examples of mine, they don't understand how to resolve those situations. You only know how to deal with issues because you've been through those issues, right? So you need to verify, ask them for the HUDs, verify they're actually in the business, right? And if they are in the business, they got 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200 deals in their belt, you're in a good spot, right?
Says success comes with receipts every time.
Right. That's right.
Comes with receipts. That's one of the illest lines I've heard on this show. They was like, yo, if successful people always, first of all, they'll be proud to show you the receipts.
Yeah.
The ones that are shaky to show you the receipts, then you run. That's
right. I agree, man. I agree with that 100%. Look, I mean, when I was doing 20 deals, 30 deals, 50 deals, I was still learning, right? When I was doing my 100th deal, I was still learning. I didn't feel comfortable to go out there and show people how to do this until I did 500, 600, 700 deals under my belt. And I'm like, all right, I think I've seen a lot, right? I can answer people's questions. I can speak from an actual practitioner's point of view of how to do this business, not just from theory. Right? When you teach it from theory, it's all fluff, right?
So let's give you a quick little. Oh yeah, you going off, bro? I ain't gonna lie. It's like 30 minutes. What you doing?
we're not even 30 minutes in yet. I'm just like
28:16 in this mug.
That's right.
Yo,
that's
it's
right.
mad questions like Memphis, since you had one, I think I just lost.
Okay, I'll go next. So we talked about mentorship. We talked about like trying to educate our people on real estate. What do you feel is like a common misconception that that we have?
I got a whole lot of those, man. I told you I've mentored a lot of people over the years, and like the biggest misconception, which actually Jared hit the nail on the head before. The biggest misconception: you need a lot of money to do real estate investing. That's all cap. There's lenders out there. There are investors out there that will give you the money to do deals if you find a great deal. You can flip contracts like we talked about to get in the game and get started. Just get it there and get started, right? There's something called hard money. I don't know if you ever heard that term before, but there's something called hard money. These are people that lend money to real estate investors to buy and renovate properties. And guess what? They will fund the majority of the deal, right? So if you got a house that you buy for $100K, hard money is going to fund $90,000 of that purchase price. If you got a house that you're renovating for $30,000, they're going to give you all $30,000 of that rehab. So if you're buying and you sell and you're renovating a house for 130 grand, all you need out of pocket is 10,000 plus closing costs to get that deal done, right? And if you got that 10,000, great. But if you don't, you can use what's called private money, right? Private money, right? Which is a whole nother game. We can talk about that for hours by itself to go and fill that gap. So you can literally step into deals, which is what Lawrence Joseph did, my mentee, and he raised private money, right? In addition to hard money to get deals done. So The biggest misconception is that you need a lot of money to do real estate, and I'm gonna tell you that's cap, right? That's number one. That's kind of tied to other things. The other biggest misconception is you need perfect credit to do real estate. I'm gonna tell you again, that's cap, right? I hear so many people tell me I'm waiting for my credit to get right so I could buy my first property. And I'm like, you're doing it backwards. You need to buy your first property and use the profit from that property to get your credit right.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes. I've never had a private money lender asking for my credit report. Never had a private money lender asking for my credit report. And most hard money lenders, if you have a great deal, don't care about your credit report. They don't care about your tax returns. They don't care about your bank statements. What they care about is that you have a really good deal. And if you have a good deal, it overrides all of that if you have blemishes on any of those things I just talked about. So the second one is you need perfect credit as the biggest misconception, right? And the third one that I hear a lot is time. I ain't got the time to invest in real estate. I ain't got the time to manage contractors. I don't got the time to find deals. When I'm flipping contracts and wholesaling, it's very little time. It's a little bit of marketing, a little bit of negotiation. I flip it to the seller, literally 30 minutes to an hour a day working on a business. You can make $10, $15, $25,000 a month doing this business very easily, even more, right? 30 minutes to an hour a day. That's one less Netflix show a day, guys.
Talk about it. Talk about it, man.
Turn the TV off, build your business, build your freedom, get your family's finances right.
Crazy. I'm curious to know, bro. What was your most complex deal? Like, what was the most complex deal that you experienced? What was the lessons you gained from that, bro? Because I would love to.
So let's see, the most complex deal. Actually, I just finished a deal actually in Miami, right? I bought a 72-unit apartment building in Miami, Florida. And we raised money. We did what's called a syndication. We put money together to get the deal done, right? And the reason why it was so complex is because it was a historical building, right? And so everything on the exterior, I had to bring it back to when the building was built in 1926. I had to hire an engineer to scrape the paint off the building to find the original paint color that was there 100 years ago, right? And go to Sherwin-Williams to match that paint color. I mean, that it was a lot of things that I didn't expect that number one affected the budget, but also affected the time frame on the deal, right? But it was just a juicy deal. So, if you buy right, if you buy with a lot of margin, you buy deep, you don't do skinny deals, right? You can overcome any complexity in the deal because it can all be solved with time and resources. But buying right is the key to doing any real estate investment. And because we bought that right, we were able to withstand some of those complexities dealing with historical property.
Yo, bro, you're a beast. You're a beast. You go ahead, since you got one. I had a follow up from that.
No, go ahead with the follow up because it might end up being similar to the question I had.
No, I was going to ask you, like, what has been one of the best purchases you've made with the success, and what's one of the worst purchases?
I got answer to both of those. For the best, one of my best deals I did was a 16 unit building in Miami, Florida, in Little Havana. If y'all ever been there, right? So we bought a 16 unit for $2 million, and I funded it 100% using OPM, other people's money. We went and got a bank loan. I got a private lender, the same stuff I just told you about right now, right? So we bought it for $2 million. We spent $650K renovating it, right? And then we sold it for $4 million and made $1 million in one deal, right? That was probably my most, I would say, the most exciting deal I ever did, the most profitable deal in a short period of time that we ever did. Now, here's the kicker, right? Once you start learning real estate, you start learning ways to save on taxes, right?